Hey everybody, and welcome back to Trekyards. He, I believe, is Commander Calkins.
And he is illuminatingly Captain Foley, Stuart.
And you know what I can do now? I can take my glasses off. Bet you didn't know I could do that.
So
You've always seen them on.
I thought you were going to say I fly now, but the wrong universe, that reference makes sense. But yes, Stuart,
fly now.
Can you now take more solar winds without the glasses? Have you released the structural integrity locks and you can bring more in? Is that safe?
Well, these lenses are for like when it's windy out, my eyes take in less wind, and so if I wanted to like dry out my eyes, I could just take the glasses off, and it would, yeah.
But maybe that'll supercharge your heart somehow.
It could be like just experiencing nature and being out in the wild and living it.
Longest analogy intro ever.
Wow. Yeah, we're talking about nacelles today. We found out that nacelles can do something really cool. We've seen warp chiller grills on ships for years now, and it's cool to see an extra added function of them that we got in this last episode of Picard.
Now, of course, clarification, the Titan can do this.
Yes.
That's all we can actually say. But the Titan can do this, which means it's likely every ship with these nacelles can do it as well. So Stargaze can probably do it, the new Intrepid can probably do it, and maybe it's a thing of the era. So that's interesting to assume.
It could also be theorized that the refit might have been able to do it, or even the TOS one with those inner chiller grills that are very small. Maybe they could pop out for some reason. I don't know. It just kind of makes you wonder, right?
I mean, this is a very large ship, so they have got more space for more moving parts. But as soon as you get like NX size, I mean, we know all the parts. I know what you mean, but it's kind of fun if it's a modern feature or a coincidental feature that this ship could do, because they had to do it. But Stuart, of course, we saw the inner workings. The episode leads into this. We saw the nacelle control, all those real-life greeblies, and then when they activated it, the thing just popped out. How did you feel when you first saw it?
I was excited. I always love learning new things about starships, and this was something that I just thought was really cool. Like, it's a bonus feature of the nacelle chiller grills, which I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if this goes back to like refit era or not. I'd like to think it does in a small way, maybe a different form of it. But I just thought it was really neat because it does shield the warp coils from excessive radiation, I believe they said. So, yeah, what better way to... I mean, we kind of see something similar in Insurrection where they pull in the gas from the nebula into the Bazaar, the ram scoops, and use that. It's not quite the same, but it is using the nacelles in a funky way that you never wouldn't thought of really necessarily. So
saying they would
I just thought it was cool.
The scene would have been better if they were ram scooping and warp coiling. Everything could be open.
Yeah, well, the ram scoops are different, so yeah. But it'd be interesting. It was just interesting to see this extra feature of it and use those pulse waves to basically hotwire or charge supercharge the ship.
Jumpstart.
That was really cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those tremendous edge cases where this would work, and so it's interesting to juxtapose. I assume the reason they're removable, because obviously it's not just they can come off; it's that they have mechanical built in to move in and out. Is that so that easy maintenance? I mean, is that the reason? I'm trying to think of what would be the normal reason, as it were, rather than just a work bee clicks it off, because they can open. But why do they open out? Or it's not for this reason. What would be the newest reason, do you think?
Could just be for maintenance, like on the fly maintenance. You need to access some of the warp coils. You just open these doors, send out your work bee no matter where you are, and it can do its thing. That might be the best answer for that, honestly. Just because they are, it just seems like an odd function.
Because we know that these specific Titan nacelles have the same warp coils from a 20-year-old Titan Luna, and we know that Dave and the team said that a lot of all of this reuses because the shipyard was destroyed at a certain point, and therefore making new became not a priority. Reusing old and keeping similar was important. So perhaps when they designed this new nacelle, whenever they did, they said, right, every single part we need to be able to interchange and repair in a really standardized way. And so if we make it accessible, we can swap out coils. That said, a coil would not fit in that hole. The coils are the entire length of nacelle, so you would not be able to remove a coil like that. Or maybe there's the half coils in there, but that's a hell of an assumption if they are.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the Doug Drexler one where you can see the actual inner workings, you can see how far the hinges come out, where the grills are, and where the work coils are. And yeah, they are halved, but they're like top and bottom. So yeah, you'd have to take the whole panel off to actually access them and pull them out.
Looks like they split them up into multi-segments, both what we can see and on the other side. So yeah, maybe they went for dozens of smaller partial coils that are more interconnected versus just giant coils. Because that's a lot of individual coils.
I mean, we saw Voyager replacing their coils as well, which were the same-ish style, like the top and the bottom.
They just take up more than a cell.
Yeah,
these are smaller.
Yeah.
So they just retract the piping, and then you could remove one and just carefully bring it out, I guess.
I was going to say, it doesn't look like there's much clearance there.
Because you think if that was explicitly the purpose, there should be double the clearing.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to get a full work bee and a full coil out. If it smashes the outside the thing, you're thinking, well, that's bad.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. What's the purpose of it necessarily? I just would assume for maintenance of some kind, but if other ships don't have it, how do they perform the maintenance? So
that's why I said if everything has to be repaired versus replaced, or replaced with exactly the same parts, then. But I like how the mechanical structures they super easily fit into the spaces. You can see exactly where they slide in. There's no extra space used, really. There's just more of a clearing between the coil and the outer grill. Interesting.
Now the interior part, I mean, first of all, the display we saw, Elcar's, it says, Nacelle open or whatever. I thought that was really cool to see as well. I just like seeing I love Elcar's. But this thing that Shaw got inside of to like jury rig looked like an engine of just a car, just to make things look overcomplicated. I don't know how I feel about that necessarily, but it is, again, kind of neat to see that raised up.
Well, at least there's no concrete, a la J. James.
That's true, yeah.
But if we actually cut to when the thing is being charged, you do get a sense of the clearing. It definitely looks like it goes further out than the other shot implied once you get more of a directly side. Almost as if the arms, they can continue to go out. So rather than because obviously we were visualizing the mechanical element comes out, but if there's also a telescopic thing, then you just push out further. Kind of that vibes to me how this looks. Now I'm seeing a close-up.
Yeah, that would make sense. And again, based on Doug's as well, where the grills are actually removed, I would assume that the grills can be removed from those hinges as well, should you need extra access. But
so in fact, the more things you add, the more points of failure. Adding that to allow the work bees to take it off is just adding 10 points of failure. But if it gives you more features, even with the risk.
Yeah. And seeing them get charged up with this energy, this was a very cool shot, I gotta say. And then you could almost see the formation of when you see the shot of the ship from the side, you got like the tendrils of energy like swirling around the nacelles. It looked very cool. It looked like what I would imagine the warp field would look like being created from the nacelles. I know they weren't at warp, but it had that vibe to it,
Yeah, and if you're the last sort of picture, I got a very ethereal vibe from it. The tendrils of plasma of power of kind of associated with like Harry Potter, the little when they pull a thing out of your brain like that. The little threads of energy that amalgam to make power. No, such a pretty sequence of because you could visualize it very simply, or obviously just riding a wave. But I think this was a very elegant way of doing it. It's not over the top, but it feels over the top, but it's not actually over the top. It's just the wave takes a block the screen.
Yeah, it's like they're surfing.
Yes.
No, but we love ships, and to just see an extra added feature of a ship that we've never seen before, I think was a really cool thing. There's been a lot of Star Trek, and the fact that this hasn't been used similarly before, I think was quite an interesting to me anyway, to see that. I gotta say, the first shot of seeing it like slowly come out the one side, I was like, oh my god, I was geeking out because that just looks so beautiful.
Yeah, and you imagine you design the ships, especially if the Stargazer was built first, designed first, and the Nacelles did not do this originally, and just added captain's yacht to where the torpedo launcher is, and John's like, huh. Right? It's like, okay, well now we need to add retractable things and what's inside, and most of these Trek shows don't necessarily have to design the interiors. Why would they? Like, there is no Titan shuttle bay. They just reuse the Discovery bay again. There is no Titan shuttle bay. Like, if you look at that model, there is nothing. They never use it. They don't have designed it. So suddenly they have to design the inside of the nacelles. Boom! They've now got a credit as full as we'd like to see, which is always nice.
Good job to the team for coming up with something new and
Looks
innovative.
Nice.
Yeah. And the perfect solution to get out of their predicament.
And I wonder if it'll pay off again later. In the sense that maybe there'll be a scene where they have to do the reverse. They have to then throw all the energy out of the decharge it publicly, and that'll cause, because there'll be a setup as well as a payoff in itself.
There's a chance that could happen. Sure, yeah.
Because if you overload your engines and then channel that power into this, I mean, I could see it being not obviously like destructive, but energy, taking down some shields, or like in a Starfleet Command, the ECH or the Hydron, whatever, where you go around, they've got an energy circle and you hit them and they go, reminds me of that. You have to get close and you fuzz them or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, let us know what you thought about this cool new feature of Starship design and technology in the comment section down below. We want to hear from you, and we want you guys to be a part of our community. So please subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click that like button to show your support.
And when you're on the channel, you can check us out for lives. Same time every damn week, unless there's a time zone change. There is this at the moment, but normally it's the exact same time every single week. But check us out if long times or during any of our normal videos. And super thanks in any video, even ones from 8 years ago. You could go back to why Stuart dislikes J.J. Abrams' Enterprise nacelles, and super thanks saying #Titan nacelles are awesome. You could do that with the $5, I'm just saying, or super chat on any of our lives on any of our topics with our pretty broad and pretty detailed discussions. Yes, they can both be at the same time. That's what we do on Trekyards. And PayPal if you can, trekyards@hotmail.com, or join on a monthly basis, because that regular support gives us a backbone, a cushion of support that we know we can keep going. That is Patreon, it's monthly, or join the channel, it's also monthly.
That's right. So until next time, he is Commander Cockings.
He's Adam Foley.
And you are you. And I'll see you later.
Bye, guys.